Alright, now here we go. Now, this is at the Ron Coleman Crystal Mine in Jessieville, Arkansas. Now, the first thing I want to tell you is if you're going to do it right, you're going to get dirty. You're going to want to find the piles that are wet, and they're going to have some clay in them, and you're not going to wear your good clothes. You are going to have to move some big rocks. Now, this is a homemade cleaning station that I have at my house. I had a few 2x4s laying around. I bought some hardware cloth. It was probably a 30-minute build. It's pretty simple. Basically, it's for washing your bigger crystals. Now, whenever I got all these rocks on, I sprayed them off. Got as much of the dirt off of them as I could. Now, after I wash them initially, and I brush them off with a little dollar store scrub brush, I put them in a bucket of iron out water, and I let them soak for about a week. This here is pretty fresh. It's a really nice piece, and you're going to see it again. Now, we leave as much of the dirt on them as we can whenever we're transporting them. It kind of helps protect them. Now, this one hasn't been completely cleaned, but the iron out will get that little bit of stain off of there, and it's going to be a fantastic little piece. Now, one thing I've noticed about the Arkansas quartz is the clarity. Now, we ended up with quite a few pieces. Some of them are little, some of them are big. Some of them may not look like much at first, but this is what they all look like whenever I got them cleaned up. Now, in the cleaning process, we discarded a bunch of material. We still cleaned it up, and we're going to use it for our rock garden, but this is some of the nicer finds. Just so many little things, even the little shards of crystal, we kept those. Now, this is that same big crystal that I found. It weighs right at 2 pounds. It does have a little bit of damage, but it is old damage, because you can tell where it's tried to reheal. A lot of people don't get that. They're looking for the perfect little pristine pieces. Now, this is that same piece that I had a little bit ago after I finished cleaning it up. It has some very beautiful windows in it. Some of these ended up even having record keepers in them and rainbows, and there's even a few with penetrators. Now, we went there on their family fun day, and we got $5 off on all of our entries, so we was out $20 a piece to get in, and our little girl got in for $10. And we're at about $50 on this entire dig. This piece right here probably covered that entire gate charge. We love getting out and digging these crystals. We love finding them. And then whenever we get them home and clean them up, it's just like digging all over again, because you're not going to know what you have until you get them finished off. Now, this piece is pretty milky, but it has a lot going on. It's got several record keepers on it. And it actually has a little twin trying to grow up on the side. Now, on the bottom and on the back of it, you can see some of the rehealing where it actually broke off of the formation. Now, it did that a long time ago, because a new break is going to be pretty sharp and jagged, and these are fairly smooth. Just like in people, the little imperfections, that's kind of what makes the piece and what it gives it character. Now, I'm not going to pick up all of these pieces. I'm just picking up some of them. I just kind of wanted people to see what you can get for a little bit of work and putting a little bit of money into it, and it's a lot of fun. They did have food out there. The rock shop is an absolute have to go. Now, we ended up with a lot of fantastic pieces. The lines down the sides, those are part of the natural formation. And the clarity is just captivating. I'll put some out in natural sunlight here in a little bit for you to look at. And you can really tell the difference. Now, this one is a tabby. I remember that kind of like tablet. It's flat on both sides. Has a beautiful point on the top. Now, this one is not a free floating crystal. This one actually broke off of another formation. And that's going to be the case on most of these. They came off of huge clusters down under the ground in pockets where they formed. Now this one is a terminated, which means it has a point on one side. And it also has a little baby growing off one side of it. Now you do find that quite a bit. You will find clusters that have 2 points or 3 points or even 100 points. Now the thing that the Ron Coleman mine is known for is the clarity on their crystals, and that never disappoints. Now you will find some milky pieces. You know, they're still beautiful, and it's going to be up to you whether you want to keep those or not. Everything you dig there, you get to keep. It's all covered in that same price. We have literally dug up thousands of crystals there. We've gone there several times. And some days you're going to find a bunch. This time was a really, really good dig. We found a lot of nice stuff. Now, to find the really nice stuff, you're probably going to have to dig down a little bit, away from where everybody else has digged. And the closer you get to the big rocks, or the more big rocks you move, the more likely it is that you're going to find something that somebody else hasn't just passed over. Now, we have been to several of the crystal mines down there in Arkansas. We're planning on going to the Wagner Crystal Mine next month. This is another little cluster that we found. The lighting absolutely does not do it any justice. There's probably 2 to 3 dozen points on this. And it's just absolutely beautiful. Getting all the clay and dirt out of the little pockets in between the crystals can be time consuming. Part of the time I use a toothpick or maybe even a water pick. This is a fascinating piece. It just has crystals on all the different sides. It's like they just kind of all fell together like a little stack. Very unique piece. It may not be my favorite piece off of this particular dig. That would be this little guy right here. Now this is a double terminated. And the shape of the crystal itself is just really unique. The clarity is perfect. You can tell that it wasn't ever connected to another crystal. So it just kind of grew in the pocket. Now, some of these pieces are pretty damaged. It's old damage, mostly. And they're still beautiful. We're probably going to put those in our rock garden outside. You know, kind of like yard rocks. And we'll still get to enjoy how beautiful they are. But that'll leave room in the house for some of the nicer pieces. This is another one. It's got a couple of nice faces on it. But it was badly beaten up a long time ago. There's some clarity in it. And you will find record keepers and rainbows and all kinds of neat stuff in these crystals. Now that one underneath my hand, it has a beautiful little Isis window in it. You can see the shape of it. But the one I'm holding, it had a couple of record keepers in it. It had a penetrator. And even the clear shards, I put a lot of those into jars with LED lights. Really, really pretty. You can see the sand inclusion on the back of that. They look like ice. Whenever you put them in a bucket of water, you cannot hardly see them down in the bottom. And they do wonderful things with light. Here's another beautiful little piece. I would have loved to have seen the crystal it came off of. It's got old damage on it, so it is pretty smooth, but still beautiful. I do not count how many points we got. That'd take all day. We ended up with a really, really nice haul. This is some of the nicer stuff. We still have about 3 buckets of stuff out in the yard that we're going to go through, and that'll be integrated into the rock garden. I tried a couple of different lightings to show this little cluster, and they really didn't do it any justice. It is a beautiful little piece. Probably has about 24 points on it. Now on some of your other crystals, whenever you get them out into natural light, it really lights them up, lets you see everything that you have going on. This one does have a little rainbow up in the top of it. I love that little side piece on it, that little baby. Now some of the sand inclusions on it, you can see them down in the bottom. That's just where it was in the material whenever the crystal was forming. There's nothing that can really be done about that. I think it just kind of adds character. Now the milky colored quartz, that is part of your slower growing quartz, and the quicker it grows, the clearer the crystal is. As you can tell, some of these are just, they're clear as ice. Just fantastic little pieces. Now, whenever we went up there for our family fun day, it just happened to happen right around the time that my wife and I are having our 23rd anniversary. So we did buy a basket of crystals up there. I'll show what we got in that whenever I do the clean out on that. It'll probably be another week or so, because we're still processing through all of this. We got some fantastic pieces. Ron Coleman, it's kind of a hit or miss. You're either going to not get very much, or you are going to knock it out of the park and get a lot of fantastic pieces. Now, we have a lot of fun doing the crystal mining. It's not the only thing I do, but it is something we've been doing a lot lately. It's an inexpensive little hobby. It's something that you actually get to take home with you. It's a lot of fun. You get to bring home some beautiful pieces. I hope you all get a chance to get out there and take a look at the mine and see what you can find. There's a lot of rock groups on social media. The Crystal Collector, he has a lot of fantastic videos on YouTube and even TikTok. Joe Dadbod, that's another one that I watch. They have a lot of fantastic hints, little tips. You'll find out some fantastic places to go. I really do appreciate y'all watching these videos. I really like sharing what we found. I hope you hit like, leave a comment, and I hope y'all have a fantastic day. I hope y'all have as much luck as we did whenever we went out to these places hunting for crystals. Clarity on that one is just fantastic. I love it. Now, I've got a lot more videos incoming. We did buy a basket at the Ron Coleman shop, and I'm going to do a clean out on that here in another week or so. Hope you have a great day.